All right, good morning, agents. This is Kevin Lauren. I'm the Director of Training and Marketing here at Alta Realty Group. And today we're going to be joined by Debi Cecconi and Bill Seitz from Clearview Mortgage. And we're going to talk about the 2-1 buy down program. So another good little arrow in the quiver. So let me bring on Bill Seitz, our corporate broker for Alta Realty Group. Good morning, Bill. How are you doing today?
Hey, good morning, Kevin. I'm doing great. Thank you.
All right, perfect. And I'm before we bring on Debi, just want to go over a couple things. First of all, welcome agents. Really glad to have all of our new agents. I see Alan Braden and a couple of the other new agents, Christy Gladding, and of course, all of our regulars, Ann Harris, John Espinosa, Kevin Hawes, Mike Beauregard, Rhonda Butler, Tasha Wilmore, Tom Fesky, all of our regulars are here. Welcome, everybody. Bill, any quick house cleaning items for you before we get into today's presentation?
Yeah, I just wanted to bring something up. Some of the agents might already do this or utilize this, but I did want it to bring it to some of the agents that maybe don't know about this, that don't utilize title as an asset to information. And I've gotten multiple requests over the last few weeks about, oh, what about the zoning? What about this and that? And blah, blah, blah. And my question always is, do you utilize the customer service feature at, let's say, for example, Ticor? That's who I generally use. And so if I'm looking at a property or I want to get a profile, I want to kind of look at the comps that title showing versus what's in the MLS, or I do want to get zoning, I want to look at ownership or transfer information. A really good tool, if you don't have this plugged into your phone, I have it on my speed dial, is for what I use, I like to use Ticor. Some of you are different areas, use different title companies, that's fine. But having a customer service number at your disposal. And I don't know, Kevin, if you want to just type this into the chat, but
Sure.
Ticor's customer service phone number is 888-447-1787. And there is no cost to use this awesome feature. They'll ask you for your email address, they'll ask you what information you need or what you're looking for, whether, like I said, whether it's a profile or whether you're verifying someone owns the property or whatever the information may be. There's no cost. They're very helpful. And usually if you want a profile or you want something from them in that capacity, they will email it over to you pretty much within a few minutes. So that's just kind of a tip of the day. If you're not using these folks, I encourage you to do so, because you have a ton of information in a matter of minutes that usually answers a lot of the questions that comes up before pre-listing or during a transaction.
No, that's huge, Bill. And then also that totally kind of dovetails off of what we were talking about last week, which is just, organizing your desktop, organizing your browsers, getting all of your online stuff super organized, so it's all right there for you. Having your password saved in your browser, having these key phone numbers in your phone, having your files from your computer synced to your phone. All of these things are just so important with getting yourself just being more streamlined and not wasting time. So that's another great one, Bill. Just having that phone number on your phone, have it as a favorite, right there, ready to go.
Yeah, it's super important. I utilize them all the time. So it's a good feature. And like I said, if you don't have that, please plug it in, start using it, and that way you're kind of self-sufficient with this stuff.
No, I love that. Well, now I'm going to bring on Debi Cecconi from Clearview Mortgage. She's the person on the screen right here. Debi, good morning. How are you today?
I'm fantastic. How about you guys?
We're having a ball. It's a lovely Wednesday, ready to rock and roll here.
I know. Awesome. Well, Bill and I had a long talk about it depends on what area everybody's in, but there's several different kinds of buy downs to buy the rate down, with the interest rates going up. And so there's like the 3-2-1 buy down, the 2-1 buy down. Those are temporary buy downs. So it'll buy, let's say the actual rate is 7.5%. The first year would be 5.5%. Second year would be 6.5%, and third through the 30th year would be 7.5%. There's a cost associated with that, and typically it's just the savings that you get for each year is what the cost is, and seller can pay for it. They also have a lender paid version of it, but the rate's really much higher. But I'll tell you something that is kind of saving some deals for me anyway, because some people are saying, well, the rates are kind of high now, I'm going to wait till the rates come down. First of all, when rates come down, prices of homes are going to skyrocket. Secondly, this is, holding up the realtor from making money, right? So if we could find a way to get them comfortable with the rate, this is almost on every one of my deals. I was working on a $1 million deal, but these people said, oh, they don't want their payment to be over a certain amount. I think it was like $7,000 per month. And the rate that did that for them was 5.5%. And in this case, it was a jumbo loan, $1 million loan. And in this case also, the lender allowed the seller to cover up to 6% of the buyer's closing costs on $1 million loan. That was $60,000. That $60,000 actually bought the rate down to 5.5% to get these guys a comfortable $7,000 payment. And so, sometimes it just makes the deal happen. If we didn't do that, they would probably be at a $1 million purchase price, putting, $500,000 down and having a $500,000 loan amount. But in this case, it allowed them to purchase a $1.6 million property, putting $600,000 down and having a $1 million loan, just because we were able to find a way to get them the payment that they felt comfortable with. Now, how do you think the realtor felt going from a $1 million purchase price to a $1.6 million purchase price? So not only does it make people feel warm and fuzzy to have that bought down rate, doesn't matter how you do it, either a temporary buy down rate or a permanent bought down rate. But in some cases, other loan officers are telling you, well, this person doesn't qualify at all. And maybe they don't qualify at 7.75% interest rate or 7.5% interest rate. But if I were to tell you, you know what, if you could find a seller to pay $10,000 origination fee to buy that interest rate down to a 6% interest rate, this person, this buyer, this potential buyer will qualify for this price point. Instead of saying, oh, he doesn't qualify. Just, how would you like that as an answer? So if we could find a way to see, okay, how can this person qualify, either with a lower interest rate permanently. Now, the temporary buy down does not help somebody to qualify at the lower interest rate. Only the permanent buy down does. The temporary buy down programs, they just make people feel warm and fuzzy. Like, it's okay to buy now. You don't have to wait till the rates come down, because if that happens, if you wait that long, you could be waiting yourself completely out of the market. Anyway, that's my little 2 cents for today. And I hope this kind of gives you a little bit of insight on how to get those buyers into homes.
Yeah, and I want to just also thank you, Debbie, for that. I want to just touch on it because, I had one of our agents, Jeff Brown, call me last week. And he said, you know what, one of my deals is like the buyers are, they're getting payment shock. They don't want to they're going to cancel, they're not going to move forward. And so it's super, super, super important that as agents, that you're aware of all these different tools, all these different programs. You don't need to know it, to the point where Debbie knows it, or the, a Clearview person knows it, but you do need to know relatively well how that affects the opportunity for your seller to sell the property, or for the buyer to be able to get into the property. As Debbie said, there's the permanent buy down, which means if you're buying the rate down, that rate stays with you for 30 years if it's a 30-year loan. The 2-1, it drops 2 percentage points for the first 12 months. It goes up 1 percentage point for the next 12 months, and then you get to the qualifying rate. A lot of people choose either one based on how they perceive what the market's going to do. Maybe they're playing the market a little bit, in the sense that a lot of the language coming out of the Federal Reserve and a lot of the financial gurus do say that rates are going to be coming down in the next couple of years. So in that sense, maybe they're comfortable doing the 2-1 buy down, because they feel like in 24 months, 36 months, they're going to get that opportunity to refinance, where they don't need to maybe spend quite as much on a permanent buy down. But the 2-1 buy down that we have through UWM does require the seller to make that contribution. So that does need to come from the seller. So that's really an important point. And it's a real convenient way, like I said, to make a deal happen when maybe you're going to have nervous buyers that aren't comfortable with that bigger payment, like Debbie said, and you're now finding a solution. They're like, oh, well then, you know what, I am comfortable knowing that I'm going to have a really manageable payment for the next 24 months before it escalates. So, it's as agents, we're in a tricky environment because rates have not pulled back yet. And we're waiting for some more key economic data that's coming out tomorrow and Friday regarding inflation. And so that's going to have an impact on rates. And if you noticed, if you follow the stuff like we do, last week we hit basically, the high point since last fall, and rates were pretty ugly last week. They've pulled back about a quarter, about 25 basis points since last Wednesday or Thursday it was. So it's, these things that we bring up in these meetings are to make sure that you're aware of what's happening, to give yourself the tools to have an intellectual conversation with your clients. If you need, concrete numbers and you need scenarios, well, you can call Debbie, you can call myself, you can, pick up the phone and run through this, and we'll help you through this kind of exercise. It's super important. I can't stress it enough. Even though the inventory is low and the demand is still there, people are really kind of going, wow, I'm looking at 7.5, 7.75. If their credit's half decent, they're still, the rates are pretty brutal. So, and you get those loan amounts north of $500,000, $600,000, the payment is, is quite hefty. When you're looking at an all-in payment at $6,000, $7,000, it's starts getting your attention real quick. So that's kind of, I think, unless you got something else, Debbie, on that, I want just to make sure that, we kind of are, available, and also that everyone understands just the importance of it.
I'm good, and I hope you guys have a wonderful week. And just remember that we are here to help problem solve too, help you find a way to get that deal done.
For sure.
So I hope you have a wonderful week, and just know that we're available. Take care.
I appreciate that. Great. Well, Bill, thank you very much. And Debbie, thank you very much for that. This is just, really good information that we can have. And that way we're able to, provide a better service to our clients. So I wanted to just go over really quick. I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but our new Elevate system does have a really cool CMA feature. So I'd really like you guys to start using the CMA feature. And not, cloud CMA or something that's outside of our system, because everything that when you create these CMAs, it's connected to your system. The client has a much easier time interacting with your system, going to your website, searching for other properties. And so it's instead of, just having like a cloud CMA, comparative market analysis, this is all totally, connected to your system. So it's way, way, way better. So the way that we get to these CMAs is on the left toolbar. You're going to go down to create CMA. It's going to pop this up. And then you're going to just either add a listing if it's just a property that you're just trying to, it's not an actual listing, but you don't have it in your listings yet. Or you're going to click on select listing and pull up one of your listings, and then just click on, I'll use this one for an example. This is one of our ARG agents listings. So then we just confirm where it actually is. You can move that thing around, save and continue. Then it's going to allow us to select the photos. It does pull the photos directly from the MLS, which is awesome. You can choose which one. This one looks great. So we're just going to select that. Now we can select the comparables, right? And we can do we can add listings, we can remove listings here. So we can really dial in these comparables. And that's a lot of comparables, but anyway, we'll just go ahead and continue. Then we have the ability to add a document. So let's add our Alta logo, save and continue. I'm Bill today. So we could even put in other neighborhoods. We can put in all kinds of stuff, save and continue. Now we can review the entire thing, or we can just save it. And so now it'll spit that out, and I may have to just refresh it. Well, I somehow messed it up. But anyway, what it does is it does create a really, really nice CMA. You're able to send it directly to your client, and then it is connected to your system. So that way, when the client, clicks on it, it's going directly to a web page on your website. So they're not just, getting sent somewhere randomly on the internet. So it's a really, really cool tool. If you haven't already created your first meeting with the Elevate staff, please do. And we'll just pull up Alec. He's got a Calendly link that we can all access. Pull that up real quick. Again, I have my web browser organized, so it's real easy. So if you haven't done your onboarding appointment, you'll click here. But what I also suggest you do is once you've done the onboarding, I suggest you also do a one-on-one and go through things like the CMA, go through things like making sure all of your clients are in your CRM. So I'm going to put this in the chat. And we'll also make sure that I have Alex Calendly link in the replay that I send out as well. So Bill, any quick takeaways from today's webinar in general?
Yeah, I wanted just to mention one more thing on FHA financing. I forgot to mention this in the beginning, so we'll mention it now. I had an agent call me on Monday, and said, oh, the appraisal, it didn't come in at appraised value, right? And so it was, I don't know, $17,000, $18,000 below what the property was negotiated for. And agent says, well, do I have to sell it at that price? Well, no, you don't. You don't have to. But the financing is now predicated. An FHA loan, remember, an FHA appraisal is tied to that property for 120 days. So you can't just cancel that buyer out and think you're going to get a new FHA buyer with a different appraiser and a different value. You're SOL with that in the scenario. So you're either going to have to get a conventional buyer, conventional financing, right? or you're going to have to renegotiate and figure it out. Because, you know, a lot of times we have these, you know, first time home buyers, or they're not coming in with a lot of resources. They can't make up that difference. In this case, let's say it's $17,000 to bridge the gap between the appraisal and the agreed upon purchase price. Just remember that those appraisals stay with that property. It doesn't go away. So you got to be really, you know, mindful in those scenarios. You can see where that can be a pitfall for selling the home.
For sure. No, that's huge. So I appreciate that. And I just realized what I did wrong on my CMA. I didn't assign a client. So super important to actually assign a client.
And then also, Kev, we were going to have Raquel on. She was going to review, Raquel from Legacy Escrow. She was going to review the statement of information and why that's a really important piece to the escrow process. So she something came up this morning, so she's going to she'll push that back to next Wednesday, but that'll be a nice important partial training topic that we'll review next Wednesday.
Very cool. And then also next Wednesday at after our webinar at 11, I've been invited by RIS Media to be one of their panelists and one of their speakers. They're having a webinar, a nationwide webinar about how you can get more clients. So something that I talk about all the time with you guys. So I will send that invite out and you guys can join that webinar as well. There's a few other speakers. So it might be a good thing for you guys to tune into. So that'll be fun.
You're kind of a big deal.
Oh yeah, huge.
Well, you're a big deal in our world. So yeah, we appreciate you and congratulations on being recognized, Kevin. That's cool. I
appreciate it, pal.
Yep.
So yeah, so now that I have assigned myself as a client, then this CMA will now work. So anyway. Well, great. Well, I appreciate you guys tuning in today. Look forward to seeing you guys all next week. What we will be doing next week is going over the SMS feature of the Elevate system. So that'll be cool. That's of course text messaging your clients. So
yeah,
guys,
I want to see that one, Kev.
Yeah, that's a big one, Bill. So I've been excited. I've been learning about that one. So as I learn some of these things, I'm obviously going to be educating the rest of you. So
what's that saying? The fishing with dynamite?
Exactly right. Fishing with C4. All right, good job. Well,
Cool.
Agents, thank you very much for joining us. Really appreciate it. Get out there, make it a great week and a productive week, and we'll see you all on the Wednesday webinar next week.